Guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ikechukwu Dokas and my brand name is the Dosi brand. Guys, in today's video I'll be giving a tutorial on how to draw a basic body pattern. It is very important as a fashion designer to know how to draw a basic body pattern. You're creating a clothes, you're creating a design, you're making a sewing or you're cutting. It is very important. So I want you guys to sit tight and watch this video to the end. Please do also subscribe to this channel, like our videos and also share our videos, and please drop a comment at the comment section. Tell us your review, what you think about our videos, what we've been doing on our channel. Please guys, watch this video to the end. So guys, the first thing we're going to do, we will be giving a straight line for the start line. That's also the shoulder line where I'll be starting all my measurement from. So I'm just giving a straight line and I labeled it my shoulder line. You can label shoulder line or start line. So from that particular line, I'll be taking my measurements. The first thing is my bust point, which is 11 inches, and my under bust, which is 15 inches. My waist is supposed to be 18 inches. I corrected it later on. So after that, I measured the length of the top, which is 24 inches. So I just needed to give a straight rule so you can see clearly what I'm doing. So that particular place, the first line is my bust point, which is 11 inches. Then my under bust, which is 15. Then I corrected it at this point. My waistline is 18 inches, not 17. So just take note. You can use your measurements, what you get, and just do it as you're seeing me doing it. So I draw out a straight line at that particular place. Then I went ahead to draw the length 24 inches. That's the end of the top or whatever you are sewing. It can also be called your hip line. So I went ahead to label my lines so you understand. Like I said, the bust point, the under bust, the waist, and the hip. So that is the 4 lines that we are having at the bottom. So I went ahead to take my measurements, and the first thing I did was to take my shoulder measurements. My shoulder is 15 inches divided by 2, which is 7.5. I marked it there. Then I marked the neck. I came down with 3 inches, then the top of the neck with 3 inches. I just did it 3 and 3 inches. So at this point I was trying to give it a good curve, so I made use of my curve rule to trace the points, and I did my curve. That's my neckline. So I went ahead to measure 1 inch down from my shoulder line. Taking 1 inch down, then I connected to my neckline where it started from. So I want to get my armhole, and you can get your armhole in different ways. You can come up with 2 inches. You can as well divide your bust measurement into 6, then add 1.5 inches to get your armhole. But at this stage I came up with 2 inches and I was just trying to connect to that 2 inches. I was just trying to get a straight line, not really the point. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So I came up with 2 inches to get my armhole, and I connected and I called that line my chest line. So that was what I literally did at that particular place. So to get my armhole curve, I had to mark the middle of that line. The line there is 8 inches and the middle was 4. So after doing that, I then came in by half of an inch. Then I gave a mark there. Then I measured my bust measurement is 40 divided by 4 is 10. So I just marked it at both sides, the chest line and the bust point. So that's what I did. Then I'm trying to connect from the shoulder line down to that point. I marked the bust measurement 40. That is 40 divided by 4, which gave me 10. So I had to do a connection from the shoulder point down to that half point, then to the chest line, the 10 inches I came in with. So that's how I got my curve rule. I hope you understand what I did. So I'm trying to get my darts. I had to divide my bust span. My bust span is 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I came down with 4 points from the bust point. I didn't mark at the chest line. From the bust point down to the hip line, that was where I marked the 4 points. How I got the 4 points is my bust points divided by 2, 8 divided by 2, which is 4, and that was how I got it. So I gave a straight row at that particular place. Then see how I'm going to get my dart. From the waistline, I'm going to come in by half of an inch. If you're not busty, you can use 0.5, but I'm very busty, so I came in from both sides with half of an inch, and I'm going to connect it straight from that particular point straight to the bust line. I hope you're seeing what I'm doing. I did not connect from the chest line. I started from the second one down to that point I gave in the waistline. Still from that waistline, I'll connect to the other side. I did it in both sides. It's more like a slant. So how to get it done? I came up by 2 inches. I came up by 2 inches, so I can connect from my waist down to that particular 2 inches. So that's what I did at the other side. I did that at both sides. So this is basically the dart. So the next thing I did was take my body measurements. So my bust is 40 divided by 4, that's 10. I gave a mark at that particular line. I did not mark my under bust. I went straight to the waistline. My waist is 34. 34 divided by 4 is 8.5. I marked there. Then the dart, there is a 1 inch allowance for the dart. I took it to the extreme end. After marking my 8.5, I gave extra 1 inches allowance because of that we already drafted out. Then for the hip, I marked 10 inches. My hip is 40 divided by 4. So I had to connect to my straight rule, and I was just trying to make sure I was doing the right thing. I connected straight, then from there down to the waistline. Then from the waistline to the hip line. Depends on how your body shape is. It can come out very shapy, like curved, or this way, whatsoever way. As long as you're in the right measurement, you are very, very correct. So this is basically the front, and we'll go ahead and cut out the pattern. So this is me cutting them out. See the way I cut the pattern out. Don't make mistake while cutting. You can also decide to put a side dart. It's your decision. I literally wanted to put here, but I really don't know, I forgot. You can put a side. It's not really difficult. I'll make a video on that. So this is me trying to cut it out. So when I was done, this was how it was looking at, and this is our front. So I'll go ahead and cut out the back. First of all, I'm going to take my straight line, my start point, or my shoulder line. This was the same thing I did for the front. I'm going to label it the start line, and from that start line I'll take my measurement. And for the back, there's a little bit difference. So I'm going to take my measurement from my shoulder to my bust point, which is 11 inches. Then I'm not going to take under bust. I'll go straight to my waist. And take note, the length for the shoulder down to the waist is not the same as that of shoulder to waist for the front. There's a 2-inch difference. So I went ahead to draw a straight line for the bust point. Then for the waistline, for my front waist it is 18, for the back it is 16. That's tell you that the back measurement and the front measurement for shoulder to waist is not the same thing. I don't know if you understand what I just said. And I went ahead to take my length measurement from waist down to the hip. I had to do this so my measurements will correspond with the front pattern, because I can't just take the full length of 24. I had to measure from the waist down to the hip. I got 7.5, and I'm doing the same thing for the back. I measured out 7.5. So once I finish cutting and I put them together, it's going to tally. You'll see that at the very end. So I went ahead to label the lines I've drawn out, my bust points, the waist and the hip. So guys, for the shoulder 15 divided by 2, 7.5, that's what I marked first. Then I'm trying to get out the neck. I came down by 1 inch for the neck. Then for the upside it's 3 inches, because this is the back. So after doing that, I'm going to cut out the shoulder. I'm coming down by 1 inches for the slanting of my shoulder, and that was what I also did for the front. After doing that, I'm going to get my armhole straight up. So I'll be coming up by 2 inches. I already told you how to go about the armhole. I'm coming up by 2 inches, then I make a straight line from the shoulder to that point, and I'll get my chest line. So that was how I got my chest line. So after doing that, I went ahead to get my armhole. So from the shoulder down to the chest line, I have 8 there. So I marked the middle, which is 4. I came in by half of an inch. Then for the chest line, I divided my bust into 4, that's 10. Then I connected from the shoulder line to the half point I marked, and then to the 10 points for the chest line. So that was how I got my armhole. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get my dart, and I told you how to get the dart. From the bust pan, I will divide by 2, which is 8 divided by 2 gave me 4. So I marked 4 inches from the chest line. Remember, for the front side, I did not mark the chest line. I started from my bust point, but at this point I'll be starting from the chest line, and I marked 4 inches down to the hip line, and I gave a straight route there. I tried to use my marker so it would be very clear. So I came in by half of an inch for the both sides. Remember, I said if you're not too busty, you can use 0.5, but I'm very busty, so I used half inches. So from the chest line, I drew down to the waist. Then I came up by 2 inches. I did the same thing at the front, if you can remember. So I just try my possible best to make sure that it's very straight and it tally. So I connected from the chest line down to the waist point, then down to the hip. This particular point, I came up by 2, if you remember. So this is basically what I did, and I went ahead to take my body measurement. For the bust, that's 10 inches. For the waistline, I am 8.5 plus the 1 inches for the darts, and I came down for the hip, that's 10. Then I connected the line from the chest down to the bust point. Then I took my measurements. I was just trying to make sure I was at the right point, so that was what I was doing there. It's basically what we did at the front. That's the same measurement. That's what I did at the back. So I just connected everything, and that was all about the drafting of the back pattern. So this is a basic body pattern. This is how the back looks like. So I'll go ahead and cut out the back piece. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like our videos, and also turn on your notification bell so you get notified whenever we post our new videos. Thank you very much for watching to this end. I really do appreciate. Please subscribe to this channel. Thank you. So after cutting it out, this is how it's looking like. It came out very well. So guys, this is the front and the back, and putting them together, it has the same length, so I had to label front and back. Thank you once again for watching. See you in our next video. Bye.